welcome to Eco India. This week, we look at how we can turn the massive amount of waste we generate into wealth. I'm Sanuta Raghu, back in rainy Mumbai this week. Over the next 30 minutes, let's look at how a Kolkata-based designer is making sure heirloom saris don't lose their essence. How a German company is rescuing old, worn-out sneakers. And how a Greek city is pioneering the art of printing public furniture. Let's start with a story about something very close to most Indians, saris. The 6-yard garment is an essential part of an Indian woman's wardrobe, however rare its usage. But the demands of a modern world mean that the sari doesn't get worn as often. A Kolkata-based designer is making sure that the sari is not lost among the wide variety of pants, t-shirts and skirts in our wardrobe by upcycling it and keeping its emotional value intact.
In India, the sari is much more than a piece of clothing. High in sentimental value, they are usually passed down from mothers to daughters for generations. The idea of Lata Sita came to Meghana Nayak when she raided her mother's wardrobe. It was full of heirloom saris.
Apart from my grandmother's saris, in her wardrobe she had pieces that she's been gifted, bought, rarely worn. There's a whole lifetime of saris lying there. Some are only used once or twice a year, if that, And I realized if she has it, hundreds, thousands of women across India must be having the same thing, quietly lying in their wardrobes. And this fabric has a great aesthetic and emotional value, and I could not allow it to lie there decomposing, I realized at that moment that this is the raw material and this is what I want to work with.
Lata Sita is an ethical fashion brand that upcycles old saris into bespoke modern outfits, with an emphasis on countering sweatshop culture in the fashion industry.
Apart from the very real impact of restoring so many meters of old fabric, diverting so many kilos of waste from the landfill, I like to use Lata Sita as a way to start a conversation with my clients, many of whom have zero interest in the environment or sustainability. People want to look good. That's why a lot of them come.
Hi, Minna. Hello.
Hi, Sam.
It's so hot outside.
I know.
No,
Good to see you. I like what you're wearing. For me, it's a confluence of sort of memory, history, fashion, identity, art and social anthropology, really. I've never personally encountered anything like it. And to have this opportunity to sort of gently distract people from the mindless consumerism. This one looks incredible. Look at the color, Priya.
Oh, this is very good, very close to my heart. It's very special, This is from my first ever earning. When I started working,
Nayak's customers spend hours with her, helping her design the new clothes. Everything from dresses to play suits to culottes. All out of the old saris they bring with them, or from the ones she collects herself. In the 7 years now since she started in 2012, Nayak has brought hundreds of people into the fold. Not only Indian, but from all around the world. They think the idea makes sense.
it is very affordable. It's tailor-made to make you look stylish and glamorous. And last but not the least, it is totally sustainable.
Any UK friend that comes, I bring them to Lata Sita. They all walk out with, what they think is unique pieces. It doesn't matter to them that it's someone else's sari. As far as they're concerned, what an amazing history. There's history in the pieces that you're wearing.
The main raw material at Lata Sita, the old sari, could come from any corner of the city of Kolkata. Nayak is used to getting phone calls or online queries asking her to come and look at an old stock of saris lying around in someone's closet.
I'll keep you posted. Usually takes some time to work with these.
One of the biggest challenges Nayak encountered before getting her business off the ground was convincing local tailors to work with old cloth, something that they immediately resisted initially.
The kind of work I did before this was different. Work invariably involved new pieces of textiles. Once I came here, I realized I would have to work only with old textiles, torn, worn out, stained. At first, I did not like the concept at all. Now, after working here for about 2 years, I have started enjoying it.
These days, Asidul Sampui, Lata Sita's head tailor, is convinced about the mission he is a part of.
When our definition of profit is only financial, then of course the system that is created is you employ unethical labor practices, you pay people less, treat them badly, or you have disruptive processes that damage the environment, all just in a bid to save money and maximize your profit for your shareholders, which you're legally bound to do. This is very important to understand. That when we open up our definitions to include a human, social and environmental cost also as a cost, and a net social and environmental gain also as a profit, which is what we aspire to do here, that is the systemic change that we need in the business world today to be truly sustainable.
A Lata Sita outfit today sells for anywhere between 25 and 200 euros, easily comparable in price to the unsustainably produced outfits found worldwide. Initiatives like this show that alternative, sustainable fashion is no longer merely a pipe dream.
Now, when not recycled, the clothes we wear take different amounts of time to decompose, depending on the type of fabric it's made from. How does this work and what impact does it have on our environment? This explainer will help you understand the idea of biodegradable fabrics.
Have you ever wondered what happened to that old pair of running shoes or that ragged t-shirt you threw away? Its journey didn't end at the bin. Most used textiles end up in landfills, and that's pretty much the way it's been for the last 50 years. So what can we do to change that? We can make a conscious shift to biodegradable fabrics. So, what are biodegradable fabrics? To be classed as biodegradable, a piece of clothing has to be made from fabric that can decompose back into nature's cycle. It has to be manufactured from fiber crops grown without the use of artificial chemicals such as pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, or genetically modified organisms. Soil fertility is an added advantage, along with biologically diverse agriculture. Biodegradable fabrics can be made from plant fibers like jute, organic cotton and hemp, as well as animal fibers like silk and wool. But biodegradable should not be confused with bio-based fabrics like non-organic cotton. They may contain chemicals and dyes and are not environmentally friendly. The bigger problem, though, is that our apparel today is largely made with artificial and chemical components like plastic-based acrylic, nylon, or polyester. The production of these fabrics consumes a lot of energy, resulting in significant greenhouse gas emissions. The chemicals used also cause water pollution. Microorganisms have difficulties breaking them down. Nylon, for instance, could take 30 to 40 years to decompose. Although not all biodegradable fabrics are entirely eco-friendly, compared to synthetics, they do have a lesser ecological footprint. The textile industry is one of the biggest polluters, with total greenhouse gas emissions running at the equivalent of 1.2 billion tons of CO2 per year. If more manufacturers, designers, and consumers choose biodegradable fabrics, we can reduce the impact of old clothes on the environment. Fabric waste can also be repurposed to create new garments, a process called upcycling, which has become a business model for many up-and-coming fashion studios. sustainable wardrobes come with a high price tag. But conscious consumerism could help make a world of difference.
Like the large quantities of clothes that end up in the landfill, shoes too aren't very far behind. Over 1 million tons of shoes are sent to the dumpster in Europe every year. A German company has found an innovative plan to tackle this. Sneaker Rescue amends old, worn-out shoes into trendy-looking new ones. And this means you never have to throw away your favorite pair.
Sneakers. Convenient, comfortable and fashionable.
I really like to buy shoes whenever I have some money on my pocket.
Every year there's a new Air Max or whatever.
And people have to have them. They're quick on the market, make you quick on your feet, but they're also quick to wear out. And it's not rare that they cost between 1 and 200 euros. Every year, Europeans throw away an estimated 1.2 million tons of shoes. That's all the more shocking given the fact they're pretty easy to repair, something Hagen Matuszak knows all too well. But his mission is about more than saving sneakers from a premature demise.
We want to show people a way of having more respect for things that have been made for them by other individuals, whether sneakers or whatever, so that they appreciate other people's work.
An orthopedic shoemaker by trade, in 2018 Hagen Matuszak launched Sneaker Rescue. Customers send in their worn-out running shoes and get them back in near-mint condition. The service costs just under 40 euros and is now used by almost 250 customers per month. But Matuszak gets precious little support from the manufacturers. Original spare parts are few and far between.
They're difficult to find. The big corporations would rather their shoes are not repaired, of course, and keep parts under lock and key. So this is all our own initiative. And we want to make our own soles, which are in any case far cooler than the originals.
Most shoes on the global market are made in China and India. In 2017, production in those two countries totaled 16 billion pairs. But it's often the environment that pays the ultimate price, thanks to factories polluting rivers with excess dye that can contain carcinogenic heavy metals. And the glues used can trigger allergies. Sneakers come with a long list of troublesome chemicals. Formaldehyde from the soles can cause cancer. And fluorine compounds that make the shoes waterproof are not biodegradable. Bernd Hinsmann works for Berlin-based NGO in Kota, helping to improve environmental standards and working conditions in the shoemaking industry. He says it's difficult convincing manufacturers to make the switch to sustainable production.
With sneakers, leather shoes and other products in the fashion segment, the price doesn't necessarily reflect sustainability standards, whether the companies protect the environment or the people making the product. We want to see them taking on more responsibility to ensure that sustainability is something they consider in their cost calculations and not just for their PR front.
Meanwhile, Hagen Matuszak is confident that his sneaker rescue mission will grow from 250 pairs a month to 1,000. For him, it's not just about the financial dividend.
Our ultimate objective is to grow to the point where we can complete the circle. So eventually we can give a part of our profit to the people elsewhere in the world who make the shoes at low cost.
A dream that he believes will become reality in the not-too-distant future, in around 5 years' time.
Talking about sending to the dumpster, every year in the EU, about 88 million tons of food is thrown away. In 2016, the French government launched an anti-waste program to fight this. And now some companies in the country have taken up the challenge to make it happen. They're already seeing big results towards reaching the government's target of 50% food waste reduction by 2025.
Every Monday, the BioCycle team is on the streets of Paris on a mission to rescue unsold produce from grocery stores. In France, over 10 million tons of food per year are thrown away, even if it's still edible.
Nowadays, produce that isn't perfect, which looks damaged compared to the other perfect goods on display, nobody will buy it, and it gets thrown out. Sometimes it's given to the people who work in the shop, but if it's a lot, it just ends up in the garbage, incinerated or buried.
To prevent all this food going to waste, the volunteers collect up to 500 kilograms from local retailers a week. Léon Sissouk works in a grocery store. He used to make compost out of the surplus produce.
It saves us a lot of time. If we wanted to pass on any unsold produce, we needed to call an association and wait for them to come and pick it up. BioCycle makes the whole process much faster.
A few kilometers and several shops later, the volunteers' crates are full. They take their haul to the kitchen of a charity that transforms the leftover produce into fresh and organic meals for people in need. In France, 1 person out of 5 can't afford 3 meals a day. Food waste is a huge issue. Worldwide, 1/3 of all food produced globally never gets eaten. It's a waste of resources and contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. France is the first country in the world to ban the major supermarket chains from throwing away or destroying unsold food. The law was introduced in 2016, but stores that don't implement it risk nothing more than a relatively small fine. According to the French Environment and Energy Management Agency, 14% of food waste comes from big retailers. With his startup Commerceau, Pierre-Yves Gagné is developing digital solutions to help tackle the problem.
There's a discount on products which are about to expire of 30 to 50% off, so they still sell. And if nobody buys it, it can be rescanned with the PDA. If you click the donation option, the product will be given to charities.
The tracking system makes it easier for the supermarkets to manage their stock more efficiently. And the system is also good PR. The startup provides certificates showing how much surplus food the supermarkets give to charities. The donations are also tax deductible. Commerceau takes a commission. It's a win-win situation for both parties.
We don't have to do anything. They take care of everything, and we even save money with the food we donate to them.
Commerceau is based at a startup campus in Paris called Station F. Founded in 2014, the company now collects 50 tons of food per day. Pierre-Yves Gagné is confident that his business will continue to grow.
We can see that mentalities are changing. There's more of a culture of combating waste, but there's still a lot of work to be done. According to a study we did, 1 in 3 stores in France sticks to the law, which means that 2 out of 3 don't. So there's still a long way to go.
Commerceau has found a way to make food waste a profitable business model and to convince the major players to take action.
Now it requires a smart mind to turn waste into something of real value. A Polish grain mill owner near Warsaw has invented stylish tableware with wheat bran, an agricultural byproduct he once thought was useless. These plates and spoons are now sold all over the world.
For generations, Jerzy Wysocki's family has operated mills near the Polish capital Warsaw. The milling byproduct wheat bran used to be seen as a nuisance.
When you grind up wheat, around 30% of what you get is actually bran. In terms of volume, it takes up more space than the flour. That's a big problem for mills. Sometimes you even have to stop production because you have nowhere to put it all.
So what to do with all the bran? Jerzy Wysotsky is a qualified engineer and came up with the idea of using it to make biodegradable disposable tableware. He started experimenting to find just the right combination of moisture, pressure, and temperature. Now he can make 10,000 plates and bowls from a ton of bran. After use, the tableware decomposes within 30 days.
Disposable items such as plates or cutlery that are biodegradable, that's the future.
The Polish startup produces 15 million biodegradable items every year. And the organic plates don't only grace tables in nearby Warsaw. They're selling as sustainable alternatives to plastic dishes in the US and countries throughout Europe and Asia.
From Poland, let's head to Greece. A local design studio in the country is using recycled plastic to build 3D printed public furniture, very unlike the stone and metal benches found in most cities around the world. The Print Your City initiative is not only engaging citizens to help design the city's public furniture, but it's also urging them to be a part of the collection of plastic waste that is the raw material for this project.
Plastic, recycled into a new form with a new function. These seating elements in the Greek port city of Thessaloniki are part of a project called Print Your City. Plastic waste is upcycled as furniture from a 3D printer. The idea came from the Dutch design studio, The New Raw. Panos Sakas from Greece is one of the project's founders.
Plastic is a misunderstood material. It's not the material that's the problem, but how we use it, packaging, for example. It might only be used for a few seconds, but it never degrades. If we use it in some other way later, we can change things and improve our lives.
This is precisely what Panos Sakas hopes to achieve with the project.
We designed the furniture to allow people to experience public spaces in a new way, with different postures. Rather than sitting upright, they can relax a bit more, as if they were sitting in their own living rooms. This is the feeling we'd like to put across and bring private living space into public spaces.
Anyone who wishes to participate can suggest designs online or select pieces of furniture from the various templates. The ones that are selected most often go into print.
I was so happy when I was walking through town one day and saw that a bench I had designed had been printed. And now it's there for everyone.
As soon as a new design template goes online, the amount of recycled plastic needed for the 3D printing process is calculated automatically. At the Zero Waste Lab, a research initiative of the New Raw, people in Thessaloniki can find out about recycling and deposit their plastic trash. It's cleaned, sorted, shredded, and melted down.
Personally, I don't like to just throw things out at all. Besides, I think we ought to have a responsible attitude toward our planet. After all, we use its resources year by year.
It takes about 70 kilos of plastic and 10 hours to make a park bench from a 3D printer. Nine of the colorful seats have already been placed around Thessaloniki's center, and more are planned. Eventually, the idea is to spread them all around the city. The combination of recycling and design is proving a hit with the locals and visitors alike.
It's very impressive to see that you can transform waste into something aesthetic in this way. Everyone can enjoy it and sit here with their friends. It's a definite gain. There's nothing negative about it.
The Print Your City project was launched in cooperation with the city of Thessaloniki. The younger generation in particular are the target group.
We're going to keep it going. We've already agreed to place more furniture pieces in other neighborhoods. I think it encourages a new culture and approach to issues like recycling and zero-waste production, especially among young people.
And if the park benches ever fall apart, they'll simply be recycled.
Now, like Panos Sakos said, it's how we've used and abused plastic traditionally that has brought it a bad name. We will continue to bring you many more such thought-provoking stories week after week. Until next time, goodbye.